Hey up, this is Justin Greaves from Crippled Black Phoenix, and you're watching Stormbringer, the Austrian heavy scene.
Justin, nice to have you back in Vienna again. It's I think it's the 5th or 6th time you're here. Is that right?
I think so. I think this is the 5th. I was just trying to work it out actually earlier, and we've definitely done 2 or 3 in a smaller venue. And the last time we're here, we're in the big venue, the same as tonight. So yeah. And I've played this place before a few times with previous bands. So yeah, I love this place.
Ready for the big stage tonight?
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
You got your 5th album out right now. It's yeah. Is it released yet? Yeah. But it's called White Light Generator. What does it refer to? Is it the white light you see when you're dying or something like that, or just what does it mean?
Well, you could take it a lot of different ways. I see it as the white light as being we see that there's always hope and optimism in the messages and the albums right from day one, but it's always come across kind of that we're quite negative and cynical, which I am. But there's always a positive side, you know. Without both sides, you know, you can't appreciate either. And I think most people have kind of focused on the darker subjects all the way along, and I think this time it's just like, okay, you know, we've got a lot of humour and we've got a lot of, you know, there's lots of positive, and you know, so I was just focusing a little bit more on that. I guess it's just the mood, really. It's just the mood that I was in when I was doing this album. I was just like, you know, yeah, I mean the songs might still be pretty miserable or heavy or whatever, but you know.
But the humor, you say, is it hidden somewhere? Because for people which are not from England, it's quite obvious. It's hard to find.
Yeah. I'm fully aware that a lot of people don't get it.
So you have to search for the black humor in the songs.
Yeah. It's very black and very dry humor. Yeah, I mean, even my girlfriend Belinda, she doesn't even understand sometimes when I'm joking, and she's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's like, you know, you can't really explain it. It is kind of an English thing, but more than that, it's a bit of a Northern English thing. I mean, you do obviously. People get it, you know, all around the world, but no, it's not in your face. It's not like we tell jokes or anything, you know. But there's always a kind of cheeky, cynical humour somewhere in there. Yeah, I mean, I think there's quite a few things that actually do stand out for being not too serious. You know, you can't take yourself too seriously.
You can't survive in this world with taking you too seriously, I think.
No. I mean, there's a lot of really bad, serious things going on, and you know, in everybody's life, you know, and it's all relative. But yeah, if you didn't have any humour, then I think it just compounds everything and makes it worse. So.
But the record is split in the black and the white part or side. Depends on if you only vinyl or a CD.
Yeah.
What's behind that? Is it just like the bad side and the good side, or?
Well, it came about firstly because when I was putting the album together, I usually have some kind of idea how the album will run. You know, I like to try and make it a little bit like a soundtrack or a journey, or you know, just to make sense. You know, the album has to have dynamics the same as a song has to have dynamics. So I had the bunch of songs, and we was in the middle of recording them, and I was putting them together, and it wasn't quite working. I was thinking, oh, you know, some of these songs that don't really belong, and then one day I just compiled them in a different way, and I put the sort of the darker, heavy songs first, and I thought, oh, that sounds good, you know, and I haven't done that before. You know, you kind of get the real serious, heavy stuff, and then that's sort of out of the way, and it kind of, the whole album mellows out towards the end. It kind of gets more softer and, you know, celestial or whatever towards the end, and that made sense sonically. And then I realised the actual subjects, you know, the titles and the subjects of all the songs, they kind of fitted in that order as well. And it was one of those, a moment. So I wouldn't call it an epiphany or anything, but it was one of those moments. Oh yeah,
or a puzzle at least.
It all of a sudden makes sense. Everything made sense. So it was like, okay, there's a distinct different feel to the first half to the second half, and then it was like, well, it's white light generator, maybe it's the black light generator, and there's a song called Black Light Generator, and that gave birth to the black light thing,
And you start with the black half, so maybe there's some kind of optimism in there.
Yeah, definitely wanted to do the black side first, and I mean, even the last song is one of the most miserable sounding songs. It really drifts off, but it's the song with the most positive, happy message in it. If you read the lyrics, it's all about everything's gonna be okay. So it's a nice, positive, theme to end the album on, even if the music sounds pretty dismal.
What is the biggest difference between Daniel and John, the old singer, is in the recording process, or in the thing to work with him?
Yeah, it's different worlds. Yeah, I could not be happier right now. In fact, Daniel, me and Daniel have known each other since the start of the band, and we talked about him being actually on the first album, and because he lived in Sweden and I was in England, he had his band and we both had work, and we didn't have the money to travel. It didn't happen, but we always talked about it. So he was actually supposed to be the original singer.
But it wasn't meant to be till this album, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? We might have followed a very different path if we'd done that. So, but I'm just thankful after all these years we actually got a chance to make it work this time. And all the ideas that we had, and the fact that I kind of knew him and I knew the sound of his voice, but we hadn't actually put it together. That it was all theory. So now it was really good that all that theory actually turned out to be right. I was so hoping it would. But he's such, and he's a different kind of guy as well. Me and him are on the same page, so it's really good to work with him. I give him the song and the title, and say, okay, Daniel, this is kind of what the song's about, and here's the music. He will write the lyrics to fit with the theme, and he doesn't mind that I title the songs, and that's always a fight that I had in the past. It's like, typical kind of lead singer kind of thing, Too
much ego involved.
Yeah, too much ego, and it was just all very weird, it's I don't mind, if people don't want to work that way, then fine, they don't have to work with me or anything, but that's the way I've always done it, you see. And in the past, I'm like, okay, there's kind of what it's about, and there's the title, and then the other thing is they would write lyrics that didn't even match. They didn't even make sense, which is why I never really published all the lyrics. And there was all this weird kind of subliminal stuff. And only on I Vigilante it actually came together quite well, where Joe wrote some lyrics and they did actually fit. And that's the only time, you see.
You call your music occasionally end time ballads. Or maybe it's just a label from the press. I just think yourself talk it that way.
I think we just tagged it on something one time, and that was right back when we started playing shows. I think it was kind of end time ballads. Oh, that's cool.
You labeled yourself, but
and unfortunately it stuck.
It's better than post rock or something like that.
Well, that was. Probably the motivation behind it is just like, we're not really this and we're not really that, so we'll call ourselves something.
I never understood the term post rock, so anyway.
Well, neither do I, because post means it's after something. For me, rock's never finished, so it doesn't make any sense.
But do you think we live in some kind of end time at the moment, that you can write a melancholic soundtrack or a somber soundtrack to it?
I don't know about writing a soundtrack to it. I think that would be pretty epic. But I mean, who knows? I mean, I think things they can seem like it sometimes. I mean, if you take a wider world view, then you can get very down. It can look very, very bad sometimes. But then the good thing is, if you actually visit some countries and you talk to people, then people are surviving, and people always seem to have optimism in them. It's just a shame that somewhere along the line, especially in England and most of Europe, we seem to have lost the power of change. The sort of the majority, the silent majority. It's a real shame, because I mean, I think at heart, I'd love to have some kind of common sense revolution, you know. Just, that's all you need, just common sense, you know, and most people have it. Unfortunately, people are, like, again, I can only really speak in detail about England, you know, but it goes for a lot of other places as well, where people have either been really repressed, or they've become complacent, and they don't have the ability to speak up, you see. So I think when it gets like that, then you can understand when people start to lose hope, you know, because you really want to change things, and most people are like, oh well, that's the way it is, you know. And
it's like same here in Austria.
Yeah.
It's kind of nearly same mentality, like like England, or just sitting back and saying, yeah, let's see what happens. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't forget that, you know, you have the power of change, you know, and it's happened many times before, and it's happened in pockets around the world, you know. So, you know, it can happen, but you can't look at it with rose-tinted glasses, you know. I mean, you've got to be realistic, and one voice or a few voices are not going to change anything, and you're not going to change anything through music. Yeah, so, you know, I'm not like Bono or somebody, you know. I think that's quite sort of delusional, really. But you can use musical occasionally to voice an opinion or support something, you know. But I don't want to politicise the band too much, you know. It does have a political edge, obviously, but
I never like that when a band is getting too political.
Yeah,
because it's always used as a tool for politicians or something like
that.
Exactly. A good example is like at this Born in the USA thing with Ronald Reagan those days, which was totally misinterpreted.
No, exactly. I mean, what you can do is just speak about, you know, if you feel there's an injustice or you want to support something, you can do that, but you do it on your personal view, and you do it on your level, and you can connect with people who will understand it. You don't go and put yourself on a platform and start preaching to people. That's like way too much. I mean, never ever imagine anybody will put themselves in that position, you know, who are in a band. It's kind of silly. but you know, you can show your appreciation for what people do. You can show your support for people, you know, and I think that's really, you know, if there's any ethics, that's what's, you know, behind the band more than anything, really, apart from the music. But then, you know, obviously the music's why we're here,
of course.
And we have to remember that and appreciate that. And
why I'm here as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. So let's stop talking about politics then, because I could go on all day.
Common sense is a good final word to do. Word.
Common sense revolution. Yeah, that's what you need.
Common sense politics.
Yeah.
I found a very nice quote of you in the internet. You said once in an interview like 3 years back, you said your idea of success is measured in happiness.
Right.
And I find it a really cool sentence, because there are less people who see it that way.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I can't speak for anybody else. But if, I mean, that's the way I see anything, whether it's with music or working, you know, a regular job or something. You know, I'm very lucky to be doing what I'm doing, and it's not very easy, you know, especially nowadays. And I think if you can be happy and you can pay your bills and you know, not get into trouble or not, you know, offend anybody, you know, if you can just have a good life by doing what you love doing. That's success, you know, that's happiness right there. And you don't have to have huge goals, you don't have to have loads of money, or you don't have to be famous, you know. You can work very hard and enjoy it.
But I think that's what most of the people don't understand, because they replace the happiness with money or fame or I don't know, different things, and they don't get it, and so they are unhappy.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, things like money and fame can alter people's perspectives, you know, and then when they have that change of mind, it makes them treat everyone around them differently, and the whole, you know, the whole thing changes, and you can get very caught up in that, I think. But we're talking about, you know, pretty extremes. Most people in a band have to work really hard, and they don't get any money, and they're probably not very happy. Which, you know, I mean, I could say the same sometimes. You know, sometimes it is really, really difficult, but I don't know how to do anything else. You know, and I think you have to appreciate. I mean, I've done 26 years or something touring, and most of that time has been in the back of vans playing in squat gigs and everything, and when I hear people complain about things on a big nightliner, on a big tour bus, and they complain about this, that and the other, not that it happens here, but people do complain. I think, how the hell can't you appreciate the fact you're actually traveling pretty well, and every night you've got your bed there and that, and if everyone's partying, you can find your own corner. You don't have to do, it's just the luxury problems, and they really shouldn't be voiced. They shouldn't be complained about,
They are too pampered, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you a big piece of equipment falls on your foot and breaks your toes, you can complain about that, maybe, yeah, exactly. But you shouldn't be complaining about, like, the fact that there's no coffee on the bus or something. I mean,
that's important. Coffee.
Well, it is important. Yeah, there's plenty of complaints in the morning. But that's the idea.
Yeah, I know. But Justin, to make an end to this before it gets too long,
right.
I wish you a lot of happiness with your
thanks.
music. I wish us a lot of happiness with your music and your gig tonight, and I hope everything works out fine so that everybody's happy in the future. Brilliant. And
all right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's very nice.